Hey, great day, everyone. We are just like hours away from 2019 being upon us, so happy new year. Today, I was just doing some last minute like number reflection and calculation and noticed some pretty like interesting data. Like this is things that I've been working on in my own business and actually things that I actually teach my clients how to do in their businesses, and figured that I would come on here and share it with you. So if you guys are new to me, hello and welcome. My name is Jerisha Hawk. I'm an income strategist, business coach, and I teach consultants how to convert four-figure clients, primarily using live stream video. So teaching really simple strategies to grow and scale your business. And like I said, today I want to talk about like really how I've been able to increase my business revenue by 43% by working with half the amount of people. And this is something that, again, it's really, really powerful when you can learn how to do this for yourself in your business, because I think we always hear the terminology that, how can you earn more money? How can you grow your business, generate more revenue by working with less people? And I think that that's a statement that maybe is thrown around often, but very few of us actually know how to apply that and do that in practicality in real life, to actually do that in our business. Like we hear other people talking about it, but nobody really breaks down, okay, I hear what you're saying, but how do we do that? And I want to share that with you guys today. So we're going to just dive right on in. And I am going to be sharing these are legit business numbers that I am pulling from my Stripe account right now. So I want to share that with you guys. So if you guys are on right now and catching this live, hop in the comments, say hey, let me know you guys are here. If you have any questions at all as we're chatting or as we're talking, like ask them, and I'll make sure to answer whatever questions that I can answer, okay? So first thing first, I want to point out, so at the very beginning of this year, I guess even before I dive into this, but at the very beginning of this year, I had made this commitment to myself of, I want to make sure that I'm growing a business that is sustainable, that is going to be something that I can manage long term, not a business that I have to continuously hustle to get more clients and hustle to make sales for forever. Like I wanted to figure out what's the best way for me to streamline my processes, streamline my client experience, but be able to scale my business. And I've talked about this a few times on the podcast, on the Jerisha Said podcast. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. But I have been really focused on how can I grow my business revenue, make a larger impact by doing less, but doing less in a really, really, really good way. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So I was already on this screen, but as far as revenue goes, for 2018, I was able to increase my revenue by 43%. Okay, so I had a 43% increase from year to date, from this year, from December 31st, 2018 to last year. I had a 43% increase in revenue. And one thing that's interesting even about how the revenue has increased is I have decreased the number of offers that I sell. And this is really big. I know I harp on this a lot in Services That Sell or in my Facebook group about how valuable it is for you in a business to simplify your offers and not try to sell 17,000 things to 17 different people, but how can you be known for one thing, sell one high ticket offer, and doing that will allow you to grow your business. So I've tested out numerous offers. I've hosted masterminds, coaching programs, and I've created dozens of digital products. But while I've noticed that some of those things may have been profitable, may have been really, really profitable for me, I doubled down on the thing that had the highest profit margin this year. And I've been spending the past year in 2018 restructuring my business model, restructuring my business operations and my systems so I could go all in on one offer. So the only thing right now that I am currently selling to the masses is a program that I call Services That Sell. And we have been able to, I want to say how many people have go through the program. We broke through 100 people have been enrolled in that program, Services That Sell. But basically how I was able to increase my revenue by 43% in this past year was by simplifying my offers and really only focusing on selling one thing. So moving into 2019, the core focus for me and in the business is just focusing on my Services That Sell program. This is an 8-week program that helps individuals like you create their own signature service, a high ticket offer, something that's more than $1,500, and sell it consistently, primarily using live stream video. So we've been able to increase the business revenue by 43%. But the thing that I thought was really, really interesting is that I was able to increase my revenue by 43% by decreasing the number of clients that I served by 44%. Which I like, again, that whole concept of how can I earn more by doing less? How can I earn more money by selling to a smaller amount of people? I've been able to successfully do that this year. So our business revenue increased by 43%, but I was able to serve, I decreased the number of clients that I worked with. And the reason why this right here is possible is because instead of trying to sell a high volume, right? A high volume of low ticket offers, meaning, I used to have products that were $97, $297, $597, $997. I used to sell a bunch of offers that had a wider range of, I sold more offers, but at lower ticket price point. And the beauty of this is how I've been able to increase my revenue by decreasing my number of clients significantly. That's almost half. Is, by selling a higher ticket price point, exactly, Sonia, by adding a higher value. And what that means is I solved a more specific problem for a smaller number of people, but I solved that problem at a price point that was a higher price point. So instead of selling, 1,000, and I'll share the actual numbers with you guys. In 2017, we served 845 people, which is like kind of insane to think about and to say. In 2018, we served 469 people. So literally I was able to increase my revenue by 43% by literally like decreasing the number of clients that I served by half. And the thing that makes this really, really powerful, especially as a business owner, we'll talk about it from both perspectives. As a business owner, but also as a customer. As a business owner, this means I was able to go deeper for a smaller number of people and provide more value and solve a bigger problem and do that in a more systematic way. So we were able to get our clients better results, create a better client experience, like offer better value, instead of just like coming out of the gate trying to sell, it's kind of like comparing like Walmart compared against like a Louis Vuitton, for example. Walmart, the experience isn't the best. Products are really cheap. They sell high volume. They're still able to make a great business out of it. But for me, I wanted to go more on like the luxury high-end scale, where even though we serve a smaller number of people, we're able to do that better at a higher quality and ultimately produce better results for our clients doing it that way. So that's the really big thing there. And the final thing that I want to share is even though we've been able to and this is just another number that you probably should pay attention to that would be really helpful for you as you guys are thinking about and looking at your business numbers and determining these things for yourself, is we were able, when you look at revenue per customer, and what I mean by revenue per customer is how much revenue do you generate for every customer you have. And just to make sure that we have space on here. But as far as revenue per customer, we increased this by 114%. Whoops. Why is this not drawing? Oh, there we go. By 114%. Meaning that in 2017, the revenue per customer, basically how much money that we generated per customer that we supported, was $238. In 2018, revenue per customer pretty much doubled, meaning that it was at $510. And what this number means, what this metric means, is that we were able to, how these numbers work, how we were able to have a higher revenue serving a lower number of clients, means that we've been able to sell a higher price point offers successfully. So the average revenue that we generate per customer that we have come into our business has doubled. And when people talk about how can I grow my business, how can I earn more money, how can I increase my revenue, you can do that in like three main ways. You can sell more products, you can support a higher volume of people, or you can increase your rates, like sell a higher ticket price point, even if that means selling to a smaller number of people. And the reason why I think this is so important and valuable to talk about is, I'm not sure when if you guys are like me, but when I started my business, I was working full time. And when you're working full time, you only have so much capacity. You only have so much room in your day to actually execute and get things done. Even though you may be capable of, performing at a higher level, or of, even though you may have the brain power and the skill set to do a lot of things, you may not have the capacity to execute all of it right now. And this is why I think it's so important to make sure that when you are thinking about growing and building your business, that you are implementing a strategy, not that you just understand the nuances of, but also implementing a strategy that you have the capacity to execute consistently. And just let that sink in for a moment, because based off of what season you are in your business, that may determine what your bandwidth is based off of what you can manage to actually do on a consistent basis. Many of you guys know that you need to be growing your email list, or creating opt-ins, or offering multiple offers, that you see all these other business owners doing it, but you have to also take into consideration what is giving them the bandwidth to be able to execute these things with a level of excellence, right? And if you don't have that capacity right now, it's not a bad thing. It's just maybe you need to readjust your strategy and realign your strategy to something that you can actually manage and maintain, to help you still grow, to get you to a point where you have more capacity to execute a more complicated strategy, or a more advanced strategy. And let me know if that makes sense. Because I think that's a really, really important distinction and perspective to have. Is that it's not that you're not capable, not that you're not smart enough, or not that you don't know what you need to be doing. It just may mean that you don't need to be doing all of those things at the same time. It may mean that at some point you want to offer a wide variety of services to a wide variety of people, which can be great. But in order to get the ball rolling, in order to gain momentum, in order to bring in cash flow, it may mean that you don't start with all those things at the exact same time. So we've already talked about how you can double your revenue by working with less clients. Really, it means by offering a higher ticket price point to a more niched audience, calling it your minimum viable audience. What's the smallest audience that you can serve, and what's a specific problem that you can solve for them, and charge a higher ticket price point. Because if you're supporting a smaller niche, that means that you can be offering a higher value, because you're not trying to solve a broad problem for everybody, but a specific problem for a certain number of people. So that's a way that we've been able to do it, by going all in on a signature service. And then really, how can you increase your sales even if you're in a saturated market? And this is something that even in the coaching program I'm in, we've been talking a lot about, but I think a very clear distinction for you to make is saturation comes from duplication, period, right? Saturation comes from duplication. So the only reason that you'll be operating in a saturated market is if you're trying to do more of the exact same thing that everybody else in your industry is doing. That's when you start to how can I survive in a saturated market? It's probably because you're trying to duplicate what you see everybody else doing. You're trying to sell the same way, you're trying to solve the same problem, but you're trying to not just solve the same problem for the same people, but you're trying to solve that problem in the same way that you see everybody else doing it. However, you can really, and this is why it's so valuable for you to have a signature service, because a signature service is, again, you're focusing on a niche audience, you're solving a specific problem, but the third part of that is having a unique process to guide your clients through to get them specific results. And this is really what makes you uniquely different. And if you look at my business model, I help coaches and consultants, so do tons of other people. I help them grow their revenue, so do tons of other people. But the unique way that we go about doing it is through something called the POP method and the lean launch. That we really help our clients uniquely differentiate themselves by helping them niche down, and by implementing something called the lean launch, teaching them how to sell using live stream video with no complicated funnels. No sales sequences, no email sequences, no sales page, no webinars, no ads, really just using foundational strategies. And that's really counterintuitive to what most other people are preaching in the online space. Everybody else in the online space is telling you that you need to grow a list, that you need to have be writing, 2,000 word blog posts on a weekly basis. Everybody else is telling you to do more, you have to spend thousands of dollars on ads, and you have to have a really good webinar, and you have to write a good sales page, and you have to really write these amazing email sequences. And those things do work. However, I think if you're earning less than 6 figures a year and if you have an email list of less than 100 people, that there's a simpler way for you to go out there and sell your services. So for you, really a way for you to stand out in a saturated market is just really, people always talk about how can you differentiate yourself, but really saturation just comes from duplication. If you're just doing and selling the same thing, trying to solve the same problem in the same way that everybody else does it, that's just what I call like a general offer. You know, that's where you run into that issue of being, how do I compete? Because you really can't compete. You're competing against everybody who looks the same. Having a signature service, you know, really a specific offer that's a higher ticket price point that solves a very specific problem for a very specific person, allows you to automatically differentiate yourself just by creating that type of offer. And really the number one step that you can take to position yourself for growth in 2019 is really the concept of this belief of focusing on one core thing. That's like the main step, is actually like the main step that you can take for growth in 2019 is not actually by doing more. I'm not asking you to add more to your plate or to add more offers or to sell more things. Like my number one step that I suggest for you to do in 2019 is look for opportunities on what can you stop doing. What areas in your business can you actually reduce? Can you stop doing? Can you stop producing? Like what areas in your business can you do less? And get these things off of your plate so you can focus on the one thing, the one core offer, which I call your signature service, that will actually get you to a space where you can build momentum in your business, actually generate revenue. And once you start generating that revenue, that will increase your capacity to actually do more. So that's the number one step that you can take, is by actually doing less. Basically, if you're offering more than 2 offers right now in your business, look at those numbers, you know, calculate those profit margins. Really, out of all the things you could be selling, what's the one thing that you should be selling? You know, not just the thing that you love or that makes you you know, maybe you care about, but what's one real problem that you can solve for people and that you can sell in one offer for a higher ticket price point to a smaller number of people? How can you go all in on that this year? And I can guarantee, like, when you niche down and when you create a signature service, and we have the data to back this up, I truly believe you're able to position yourself to at least double your revenue in a year's time frame by that one simple step, by actually doing less. So if this at all was helpful for you, or like, I hope this is making sense, okay? Like, I hope this is making sense. These are just some realizations that I'm having, numbers to actually back it up, which is important, that you're not making decisions just based off of how you feel, but you're making decisions based off of fact, off of data, off of metrics that support that decision, which I've been able to show you here today. But this is something, we teach this in a core process in my program, Services That Sell, and you can absolutely join the waitlist by visiting servicesthatsell.com to get on the waitlist so you can learn more about our actual process that we take our clients through so they can do this themselves in their business. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, pop it in the comments below. If you want to join the waitlist for Services That Sell, here is that link. And I hope to see you guys on the other side. Just let me know if you guys have any questions. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.